Hi, and welcome to Diversify. Bienvenidos a nuestros amigos aquí en Puerto Rico.
Muy bien, y a todos aquellos que nos escuchan en otras naciones de habla hispana, bienvenidos. Welcome to everyone to our Diversify Monthly Circle.
We're so excited to be here with you guys this evening. I can't even explain how overjoyed I am right now. We've been talking about things for like this last month, ideas that we want to share with you. So it's such an honor and a joy to be with everybody tonight on this call.
Yeah, and it's all been over like 2 years. I think we've been doing this month after month. And if you're interested to learn more, we have over 20 different recordings, such as like this, in our app. And also, you can see them, if you sign up to our Diversify Monthly and you subscribe completely free, right? You can just go to our website as well or download our app on iOS and also on Google, right?
Yep,
What is
Google
it?
Play Store.
Google Play Store. There you go. As a Better Life or as Able.
As able. You know, before we get going here, there's many of you guys that have never been on one of our calls before. As we started off a couple years ago, these were Zoom calls. So that's why we call it Diversify Call, because it actually started out as a literal call where we got on a Zoom meeting with all the different people that we formed friendships with, relationships with, that want to create wealth, find ways to get out of debt, start businesses. And so now we've moved to this new platform so we could connect with more people and provide more content for you. But first, let's explain what is Diversify. What are we actually doing, Diana?
Oh, wow. Actually, this idea came because we've all heard about having a lot of eggs in one basket. So, diversify comes as an opportunity for all of us to actually start diversifying our income. So, instead of only having one funding stream, we have multiple funding streams. So, if anything will happen to one of our funding streams, guess what? At least you have some income coming, right?
Exactly.
So if anything happened, you lose your W-2 job, your full-time job, you still have some income supporting your family and yourself.
So we created this space for you. We wanted to give everybody a space through the Diversify community,
Yes.
which what Deanna was saying, you download our app, you can sign up online. The links will be in the bottom of the description. But this community was built for people as like a mastermind, so we could all get together, share ideas with each other, because many of us had lots of questions like, what do I invest in? What don't I do? How do I start real estate? How do I, all those different types of things. So that's really what this whole entire community is about. And we're bringing it to you. So we want you to connect with us. Even right now, we want you to go into the chat right now and start sending your questions. We want to respond back to you with answers. We want to hear the kind of content that you want to hear from us, because we're all about bringing as much information to you as possible. So start chatting now, right?
Yeah, actually, we have one of our communicators is engaging with you right now. If you go to our chat, you will be able to see the link for signing up to our Diversify. And we would love for you to hit a like for this YouTube video and also make sure that you're notified for the next one and share with your friends. We have social media like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, where every single day we're sharing information, seeds, right?
Yeah.
Chad is always doing the growth seeds for you. We're doing those. Those are 1 minute, just, positive words to encourage you every single day, both in English and Spanish. And not just that, we actually have a free life and financial coaching program that is completely free with over 10 classes. So I'm sure we'll go more about that later on as well. But ultimately, diversifying your income will also allow you to fulfill your dreams. to be able to have your vision and the family vision come to fruition. So, and you'll be able to be more generous because that's our heart, right?
Yes.
We love giving. And when you are able to have a secure income, you can then help others even more.
So, what got us thinking this week? Actually, this started a couple months ago. So, the title of this is like, who's stealing my money for my eggs, right? Which is
Yes.
kind of a crazy title, but it's something that we all like deal with, right? Food prices, inflation. We were actually on a trip to St. Thomas back in October 2024, and we were at one of the local grocery stores there, and we looked at the price of eggs when we were there. And they were what, $17 a dozen? It was like crazy. Like I've never heard of that in my life. And I was shocked actually that they were so high. Then I was so thankful as we came back to Puerto Rico that the egg prices were not $17, right? Even where you're living, maybe in the United States, I know they're not that much there because we travel back and forth to different states. So, we come back and we're thinking, so this week we're out, grocery shopping. And what happens? We look down and we look at the price of eggs, and they're literally $1 an egg. They were $12 an egg. Now, that might not be significant to some people, but to most of us that shop for food, this is very significant, right?
Yeah, so we're at the grocery store and I sent a small video to Chad. He comes over and we're looking at the cost for eggs. These are medium-sized egg. They're not organic, they're not cage-free. $1 per egg. We started thinking this is definitely changing the American breakfast, right? For all of
No
those
more omelets.
that love going out to diners and having your breakfast and eggs and boiled eggs, Well, I think this might also like almost change our culture because basically, you're paying $1 for an egg, and we were like surprised. So obviously, next to us, there's other couple, an older couple, and they're both looking at each other with the eggs in their hands.
Like, what's going on? What's going on?
So what's happening is actually this is not just in Puerto Rico or just in United States. We know that inflation is happening across the world. Things that used to cost 25 cents, it's 4 times more. A house, interest on houses, interest on vehicle, the cost of vehicles, right? It is so high. So, what can we do when an egg costs $1?
Yeah, what do we do? And that's what we want to talk about tonight. Like Diana said, it's not about just the eggs. It's like, what do we do when prices start going up? The things that we buy every single day, gasoline, milk, water bottles, all these different things that we're buying day in and day out. How do we fight against that and protect what we have?
Especially when income is not increasing, right? So you have an inflation of 20%, 50, 100, 200%. But is your income growing 25%, 30%, 50%? I don't think so. I don't think our income, it doesn't matter if it's income through your full-time job, through your own business, because you own crypto, because you own stocks, because you have gold, silver, you name it, or real estate. It might not be, your income has not increased that much. Actually, for example, we know people owning properties and they've only been able to increase the properties by 2%, 3%. But here, food cost, electricity cost, water cost has increased so significantly. So this is the importance of diversifying the income, right? We know things are not gonna be so much better. Like, I think that's a bubble that it's time for us to pop, right? Would you say,
Yeah,
babe?
I would
Like, I
say
think it's already time for us to understand that things are not gonna go back. We were not gonna be able to buy a dozen of eggs for $2 or a dollar or
I
dollar
wish.
50, but that costs are increasing. And what can we do, right? So we're diversifying income, and that's what we encourage all of you. And if you've never tuned into us, you've never heard about how to diversify income, we really invite you to watch other videos that we have. Do it through the app, do it through YouTube. But it is important to prepare yourself, right?
Absolutely. And it's even more important than it was a day ago or a month ago or even a year ago. Things are changing rapidly in the economy. And
Mhm.
like Diana said, it's like the thought that things are going to go back to the way they used to be. Like the interest rates are going to drop down, prices are going to come down. The chances of that happening become slimmer and slimmer every single day that passes. And there's many people that have been sitting on the sidelines, waiting to make moves, waiting to invest in certain things, holding on to their money, hoarding things. No, just waiting for a pay raise at their job, all these different things. But we have to start taking action today,
Yes.
and we're super passionate about this, but we want to be honest with you guys. Probably at least 2 times a week, we're having people come to us, or stories are coming to us with people that we either know or work with that are either losing their jobs, being evicted from their houses. And I'm talking from, you know, teenagers, not teenagers, but right out of college
Yeah.
students, millennials, all the way up to people that are, in their 70s that are actually losing their job that they were depending on for the next 2 or 3 years to get them by until, they had enough to pay it off with their debts. So this is a real thing that's happening.
If this is you, or maybe right now you're thinking about a friend and they're going through this, maybe they just received that email, that phone call, letting them know that they've been demoted, or maybe they've been let go of their job. Please share this YouTube with them. Go share, send it by text message, send it by email, put it on your YouTube, or put it on your Facebook, but share this with your friends and with your family members. Don't stay with this knowledge just by yourself. This is something that is real and it is happening around the globe. We will also like to invite you to subscribe, so that then you can get notifications for the next coming, right? We always meet the last Tuesday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we have these lives with you. So you were talking about people having being terminated. This, for example, happened, like in the summer. It's been happening every single week. We learn about people with family, people that are single, just getting a notification from now to now, like tomorrow you can
Yeah.
come back, or in 2 weeks from now. Yes, some companies give, a severance packet, but the reality is that most of the companies, even though you've been working for them for years, they don't have the means to be able to give you a severance package. And this is why we've been saying it's important to diversify the income.
Yes.
Because if that happened to you, guess what? At least you have savings, at least you have a cushion, at least you have other ways to generate income. But we've actually been able to come up with some ideas that we want to be able to share with you, right?
Yes. So this is about, it's time to create a plan.
Yes.
The days of daydreaming and waiting for money to show up to our front doors are gone. We have to take action. We're making these resources free to you. We're
Yes.
sharing this because we want to see people succeed and not be in such stress.
Yes.
So we have to take action today. So we're actually going to share some ideas with you, what you could do. Some of these things are basic, but we have to remind ourselves sometimes it is just going back to the basic things that we take for granted and that we just don't think about because we're so comfortable.
Yes.
It is literally time, you guys, to get uncomfortable. And it's going to be for a period. It doesn't mean this is forever. We might have to get uncomfortable temporarily, but it's going to prepare you for what's coming. It's going to prepare you for the famines that are going to be coming in the economy. Might not be this year. It could be 2 or 3 years down the road, but they will be here. And I want you all to be prepared. So,
And I think also that everyone, all of us, we go through some financial ache at some point. Either you lose a job, or maybe you have to move and you have to start all over again. Sadly, maybe you're struggling with a divorce. You just went through a divorce. We went through divorce, and we know how difficult it is financially to go through a divorce. So if this is you, hone into this and listen. On our chat, we're putting the links for our seeds program, which we said is completely free. On this program, we will help you create a budget, but ultimately it's actually about having a different mindset, right? Everything that we're sharing with you is to help you change the way that you are thinking about how you've been earning income and how you've been spending that income.
yeah, it's not all about money. It's actually about living abundantly.
Yes.
And that looks different for many different people. Abundance could just be your health. Having good health might be all that you desire because you might be ill right now.
Yes.
You could care less about having $1 million. You want to be able to walk. You want to be able to get out of bed without your back hurting. So that is what this is about. It's about living abundantly. So let's look at some practical things that we could do. All right.
Let's go.
Eggs are $15 a dozen right now. So what can I do? You know, I like to eat eggs, right? Well, now it's like looking at your grocery list, and it becomes like meal prepping or meal planning, right? We need to start thinking about planning our meals.
Yes.
Because there's actually studies showing that if you plan your meals, your grocery list, you actually save 20 to 30% on your grocery bills monthly because you won't be spending on things that you're probably not going to eat. But you know how you go to the grocery store and you're hungry when you go to the grocery store like us. Sometimes we'll go at like 5 o'clock and you buy all this stuff because it looks good. But we need to change that habit. We need to start thinking about, let's start planning more, right, Deanna?
Most definitely. And it doesn't matter the country that you are in, right? We get into a habit of eating out, and we've met with so many people, and practically they will be like, why are we not saving if we're making so much money, or if our expenses are so low compared to our income? And when we look, is that there's a lot of money going out through food, either through the groceries or even through purchasing food out, right? On restaurants or whatever that could be. So even when doing grocery shopping, Chad mentioned, if you go and you're hungry, guess what?
Don't do it.
You're going to buy so much more that you don't need. But also, sometimes we buy because we grew up in a very poor environment. So if we have the money, or even if we don't have it, we put it in a credit card because we feel like our las alacena, where we put the food.
Yeah, our pantries.
Our pantry has to be full. Because if it's not full, it means that I am going back to being poor again. And there's a problem with that. So sometimes it's not just about buying when I am hungry. It's also that we just buy and buy and buy because of the way we grew up. So it is important to break that type of mindset. And one of our friends, her name is Michelle Hamstra, actually, she created a 90-day wellness planner. So this wellness planner actually has ideas where you can start writing, like your grocery list. you can actually create your weekly planner. So you will have like a weekly meal planner, and maybe you can see it there, but you can, right here, you, for example, let me see right there, you could create your weekly meal planner. So what is it that we're eating this week? Are we eating pasta? What are we eating? The chicken or the rice? So then when you do the grocery shopping, you're just buying for those meals. And if you work, instead of spending money for your lunch, you can cook more food and then prepare, a bag or some, storage for the next day to take it to your work with you. Because again, what we want to be able is to be wise on how we are spending our money. Same for our children. One of the great things that will happen, Chad, is that when you start cooking, you will start cooking healthier foods. So on this wellness planner, Michelle even included a list of healthy, foods. Because if then you start also, encouraging your family and preparing a meal that is actually a healthy ingredients, guess what? It's not just about money, right? It is about living in abundance, a healthy lifestyle, because now we're eating healthy things, but also we are spending less money in our budget. And guess what? Now, instead of eating eggs for breakfast, we might need to substitute it with another thing, right? It could be oatmeal, it could be cornmeal. Here in Puerto Rico, we love the farina, right? So we do have other ways to still have a good breakfast.
So think about cooking at home. Okay, let's take it another step. So now you're not driving to restaurants as often. That means you're not using as much gas. That means you're not tempted to stop by the Walgreens or CVS or Target on the way home to pick something up. So it literally does change your spending by eating at home. Plus the benefit of having time eating with your family at a dinner table.
Yes.
Opposed to, going to a restaurant and the kids go sit at a different table, the parents sit at another table, and the chaos of getting in and out of the car and the time it takes to drive.
This is real.
This is real things that happen. Like when you're at home, you do spend more time with your children, your family, you spend more time talking because you're spending less time getting in and out of the car, driving where you're going, all those different things. So it will save you money.
Yes, and you might need to do this over the weekend, right? So whenever you start working, it has to be done before, because once you start working, we know you're off you go. And I'm gonna give you a quick tip that worked for me. For example, I will make one meat. That could be ground beef, and then I will use that ground beef for different plates, So look at what you really like, right? Every culture is different. So what is it that you like? You might need to buy some foods that might be frozen, right? But then because you're buying them frozen, you can just throw it in and cook it pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, exactly. So another thing we could do, and this might sting a little for some of you people out there, and it will for me too.
Okay.
So switch to generic brands for things.
Okay.
I know some things like peanut butter, for instance, for me, there's certain peanut butter brands I like, and I like the taste of the flavor of it, right? But if the price has gone up, and I'm telling you guys this is what we have done. We're doing this. We're just not making this stuff up. We're actually doing these things.
It's real for our family.
So we've switched to different brands, some generic brands. It does not taste as good. I'll be honest. It really doesn't. But this is temporary. I'm telling you, this is temporary. We have to make some adjustments now. That way, when things do go bad and things start getting tough, we will all be in a position where you can still buy as much food as you want to buy and you'll be able to live the place you want to live. But if we don't make these adjustments now, while we actually have income coming in, we're not going to be in the position. It'll be too late. You're going to get to a point where it is going to be too late.
And sometimes we just start buying so much and then we have to throw it away because we're really not using what we are purchasing. So we become, we're just purchasing and purchasing, and we create that type of habit. And it is time for us to break those type of habits. It takes a lot of self-control. It takes a lot of consistency, but also to be focused, right, on the vision for you and for your family. That's why it's so important to have a vision.
Yeah.
Because even when we go out to buy, now just instead of buying stuff because I want it or because I'm hungry, I am actually purchasing something based on that sifter of my family, of that vision of what we really want for the future.
So the next thing that you guys could do is think about buying like non-perishable items in bulk. If you have like a Sam's Club or a buying club or something like a warehouse where you could buy some products, things that you're going to use over the course of the year, and you could get a lower per unit cost. Really think about doing that because it will actually lower your cost over the course of a year. We're not looking at things
like toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper, paper towels, all those things that you guys use, all the time. We're really looking at a whole year instead of just like weekly or monthly. We want you to begin to think about your finances in a way like I'm looking at my entire year, I'm planning, I'm forecasting. And when you look at them that way, it really does change your spending habits and you will end up with more money at the end of the year. It's almost impossible not to.
Actually, we have a friend, and she started with us in Diversify about 2 years ago. They have a wonderful Instagram page and Facebook. It's Abundantly, and they talk about homestead. So there's so many resources out there. You can just Google about what is homestead because maybe it is time for you to start buying the chickens.
Yeah,
right?
they're cheaper than the eggs right now.
Yes, it might be that time for you to buy one chicken per person in your home or two chickens per person. This might be your time to actually start, thinking about, do I have land? Or even if you live in a building, can you start, building some things inside your home? There's a lot of things out there, my people, right? An idea. So you can start cultivating maybe a little bit of your own food. And maybe you're saying that's not me. Okay, so if that's not you, that's fine as well, because you might be living in a place where you can have chickens like we did, right? And we do right now. But it's like thinking not the same way we were thinking before, because that's not working anymore.
No, we can't be thinking that way. We really have to think strategically about everything that we do from this point forward. So another thing you guys could do is sounds crazy, and it drives me crazy sometimes when I think about it, but I'm going to say it.
Say it.
Unplug appliances and things in the house that you're not using.
Yes.
I used to get so mad at Deanna because she would go around our house and she would unplug everything. I mean, everything. TVs would come unplugged, then I'd have to reset it. The coffee maker be unplugged, then the timer doesn't work anymore. And I would be like, what are you doing? Why are you unplugging all this? It doesn't make a difference. And
by the way, we got married after our 40s, so I was already having my own, system. I was receiving all of these ideas in Massachusetts on how to cut my electricity bill. And here I'm getting married to my Indiana boyfriend, and he's like, what are you doing, right?
Oh, I used to go behind her and plug everything right back. As soon as she do it, I'd plug it because I was so mad because everything, when the electronic gets unplugged, it comes unreset and you have to set the time. You have to set everything up again.
Yeah.
But it really does make a difference at the end of the month for your electricity bill.
Yes.
It does help, and every penny is going to help you get to the next level.
Yes. Google it. If you don't trust us, Google. Does my electricity bill reduce when I unplug? What they say is that as you have it on, even if you have it plugged and off, it's still consuming electricity.
So another practical thing you could do is if you have some coworkers that you're pretty good friends with, and they work the same job. Obviously, your coworkers say they work where you work at, right?
Hopefully.
And you live relatively close to each other, start carpooling to work. I mean, think about conserving energy. I mean, many people, I understand, people like to have their time in the car. They like driving in peace in the morning or after work and stuff like that. But it's about making small, decisive choices today to put you in the position tomorrow so that you will be successful.
Mhm.
So contemplate, joining a carpool, using public transportation if you have that option. Not everybody
Yes.
does, but if you have that option and it saves you money, yes, it's uncomfortable. I get it. I don't like it either, but I will make some uncomfortable decisions and choices if it saves me for the future, what's going to be coming for all of us. And
And restructuring the budget, right? And
yeah,
our expenses. I'm gonna throw another idea. So this, I mean, everything we've been talking about is challenging. Okay, this is not easy because we're changing a way of thinking, but it also feels restrictive, right? We feel like when we have money, it's like, if this is my money, how can I not do whatever I want to do with my money? I want to live this wonderful life, especially if you see your income increases. Guess what we usually do? We increase our expenses as well. But we don't want to do that. We want to be able to increase our income and leave our expenses so that then we can start investing and saving. Another idea, something to throw at you, very challenging, okay? Get ready for this one. Now, this is something that we had to do separately and together. Downsizing. Maybe it is time for you to downsize, to move into a smaller home. Maybe you need to rent your home, and then you rent one that might be with a rent fee less than your mortgage. Maybe you have to find yourself a roommate. Maybe you're a single man, a single woman, and you have a place with more than one bedroom. Why not rent the other bedroom to another person, right?
yeah.
Very difficult.
And I'll tell you a story, like how difficult that really is. Because when we say we've gone through this, we have gone through this. I had a house that I built, lived there for like 17 years. And then I went through a divorce and I was with the house. But on my own, with my debt that I had, plus the house, I couldn't barely make the mortgage payment on this house. I love the house. It's a large place, had an acre lot out kind of in the suburbs, very nice. But because I was struggling so much to make that payment, I literally had to rent that house out, move everything that I accumulated over the course of, 12, 15, 17 years into storage and go rent an apartment, a small apartment which was way less money, so I could be able to make that mortgage payment. And that way I could actually begin to get out of debt. That was my journey to getting out of debt, is like that choice was the one that kind of set me on the journey to be able to come debt free and get out of everything. It was a sacrifice. It was not easy at all. Like I was kicking and screaming every bit of the way. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to live in an apartment.
You felt almost like ashamed, right? Like you were going backwards. You're over 40, and instead of you going forward in life, you're feeling like, I'm going backwards. I just went through a divorce. I just had this beautiful home that I built. I'm going down to an apartment. Diana, meaning me, was just throwing away his cups that he wanted to
She went through my cabinets and threw away my favorite cups.
So downsizing means downsizing. So here I'm like looking over, we're giving away stuff. Like, I don't want to give that away. Why not? Like looking over at the clothes, and you felt like, what's going on? Now here, that we were dating at that time, we've been married right now for 7 years, and where you at compared to that time.
Yeah, I mean,
So much even better than what you were by yourself when
it's
you were
there's
single.
no comparison. We've got out of debt. We've been able to buy properties. We've been able to build another house. We've been able to move to actually another country.
Yes.
So it's been an amazing journey, but along the way there were like steps we went like this. We'd
Mhm.
go up, then we'd give something up, then we'd go up further, then we'd give something up.
Mhm.
And these were all choices that put us to where we are today. And they were difficult choices like the house. That wasn't the first time we did that either, by the way. We downsized a couple times. So
Yes.
it's not like we just arrived. And we'll probably do it again because where we're
But
going.
we did it right now.
Yeah, we just did it when we moved here. So and we're going to keep doing it because it's always what we've seen. And this is just our experience that we're sharing. Every time we do this, we end up in a much better place. We end up much happier. We end up in a better financial situation. It just has worked out every single time we've done this. So we've been very open-handed about letting things go and not holding on to things too tightly.
Yes.
Because sometimes we get so stuck hanging on to all our possessions and the things that we've worked so hard for, and we feel like it's part of our identity.
Yes.
So we've learned to let things go, and it's made a huge difference in our life, and it's afforded us a lot of opportunities we would probably never ever experience if we held on to those things, right?
Yeah, and ultimately, we really want to be generous with people. We
Yeah.
don't want to live life like we're punching the air. We want to live life with purpose. There is a significance of why we are here. And we've all gone through trauma. Listen, we've gone through thoughts like suicidal thoughts. We've gone through depression. But what do we do, right? How can you change? There's so many people we talk to that they are so anxious because they lost their job, because they got that phone call, hey, we're going to take your car. Who wants that? Who wants to have a vehicle, you've paid it 80%, and then the bank is going to come and take it away?
Oh.
It's horrible. So we never want you to go through that. We have other ideas for you, but do remember to please share this YouTube video with your friends, post it on your social media. Do join our Seeds program, because in that program we have templates to help you reduce debt. Maybe you're hearing us and right now you have all of these, but how about my debt? How about this? Listen, we are addressing so many of those issues in our call, and we're doing this because we love you. And the same opportunity that we have of breakthrough, we want to share with you.
Yeah, we've actually made it all available for you. What we did with the Seeds program, like Diana was talking about, these are the steps that we took that's actually put us to where we are. So please, please, I can't stress it enough.
Yeah.
If you're in any of these positions and you want to be in a better position, join it. It's free. Go through it, work through the program. It will make a huge transformation in your finances, and you will be, I mean, you're going to feel so much freer by going through it. And we're not on here trying to sell you. We're not saying buy it for this much money. No,
Nope.
we're giving this to you
Right here.
So take advantage of it. Change your future for your family. Then other things, we're thinking about, what else can we do, right? As we're talking about this, let's think about, those are some things we could do to cut our budgets, right? Cut our expenses down. What about if we want to protect and preserve like some of the wealth that we have? Say you have some savings, right? Say you have some money set in a savings account, you have an IRA, you have some CDs that are coming maturing, because this is for everybody's at a different stage in life. Some are just getting started in their careers, other people are ending their careers or finishing. So we're all in different places. So we wanted to give you some things that you could think about to do. And as we give you this information, it's not that we're giving financial advice, we're just giving you ideas so you begin to think about things that you could do. That you could consult your financial, planner, different people, brokerage, all these different things, right?
Sure.
You want to say something?
Well, I was going to say, thinking about ideas and strategies, right? Even we usually buy in a compulsory way, even for clothing. So set up a budget for clothing. Okay, for every child in my family or for myself, I'm gonna set up this amount that will be for clothing. Or even, for example, like medicine, set up an amount for medicine. Another one is, even when we were talking about food, so you can go to your local grocery store and see what they have on sale. So we've done that. So we see the meats, or meats are usually the most expensive item, right?
Until eggs.
Until eggs are more expensive than steak.
Eggs are more expensive than filet mignon at this point.
For real. And the pork chops are cheaper too. So you just get the meat, right? You buy the ones that are on sale and you prepare the meal plan around those food that are on sale. Same thing for items. If you need an item for your home, wait for it, put it. Don't buy it because I need it now. Put it there, write it, and start searching for the price. As an accountant, I'm an accountant, and we are taught to do 3 quotes. So don't just buy at one place because you think it's cheaper there. Remove the emotion from decisions. We get too invested, our emotions, right? So if you take and you do 3 quotes at least, then you can actually see which one is cheaper, and then you can wait for when that item is on sale. And that way you can actually then save more money and reduce your budget.
Give yourself a 24-hour rule for any major purchase. And I'm talking major purchase might be anything over $50 at this point, right? Like, give yourself literally 24 hours to go home, think about it before you shop Amazon or whatever at a store. And then you can really evaluate, do I really need this, or can this wait till the next pay period? Don't stop putting stuff on credit cards. If you're carrying a credit card balance right now, stop putting stuff on your credit cards.
Let's go. So good.
Because you're never going to get out of the cycle. Credit card interest is so high. We address all that in the program. But just stop. I mean, it's like, if you could pay your credit card off every month faithfully without accruing any interest, and you're using it, wisely, basically, so if something would happen, you could cut it off for the bank and you don't have to worry about somebody stealing your identity. That's perfectly fine. But if you're carrying a balance, that means there's an issue with your budget. There's an issue.
It's a spending problem,
There's a
right?
spending problem. I know we all have all these different excuses, like, well, I had to put on my credit card for this and I had to do, and we've heard all of them. I've made most of them up myself. But it's a spending problem. If we're being honest, that's what it is. So just stop.
Yeah, you know what I've heard a lot too is like, I've earned it.
Yeah.
Like, I've worked, I've earned this money. And even in marriages, right? You have a spouse, and it's almost like, why are you even telling me how to spend my money, right? I earned this money. I've sacrificed for it. And if let's say that one of you doesn't work, then the other person's also feeling offended. And maybe you're single, right? And you're like, well, I can spend all my money, but then if there is a situation, who's going to support you, right? Like, who's going to be able to help you financially? And listen, this is why there's so many people depressed. I think you can talk with almost every person, and every person has an issue with money. Either they've been successful, but the majority, they have a big issue on their finances. Either the spouses have different accounts, they don't talk about it. People are putting their bills away. No one wants to see them.
Mhm.
If that's you right now, go grab those bills.
Yeah. Pull 'em
Face
out.
the truth, right? But take these ideas into consideration and trust us. You will see a change if you do something different today.
Yeah, we're telling you all this because we care. We do
Yeah.
care. We honestly do care about you, and we care about your future. We care about your mental well-being because
Yes.
financial stress is, I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, it's one of the leading causes of divorces,
Mhm.
suicide, all these different things, and we don't want that for anybody. So when we give you these ideas, we're hoping that you run with them and that you know, it actually creates, you know, a happiness in your life, you know, and brings you more joy in the end of the day
Yeah.
when we do all these different things.
That they're feeling more whole, right? Because
Yeah.
now we're talking about physically feeling healthy, eating healthy, having a different way of thinking that makes you feel more healthy. When you,
Mhm.
we were reading actually a great book from John Maxwell about 21 leadership, right? And one of the things that he's saying is about compensating yourself. So what we've been doing as a society is that we gratify ourselves at the beginning. So then we don't have anything that keeps us excited.
There's no reward.
There's no reward. And the reality is that as humans, we work really good with rewards, right? So you want to be able to put some goals on your life and ask yourself, what is that goal for me right now? If you are one of those persons that are scared, are you living paycheck to paycheck? This is a great moment for you to just break out of that and make a decision.
Now let's talk real quick. How much time do we have left? I want to make sure I don't keep you
9:40,
guys.
it's only 47. We have
All
more
right,
time.
we got a little bit of more time. I want to share a couple of things that you guys could to think about, like asset wise. If you were
Yes.
to take some of the money you have in savings, what could you do with it? Well,
Yes.
there's a few different ideas that are pretty much ultra low risk. I mean, everything has risk, but these are the most less risky things that we
The
could come
lower
up, the
risk.
lower risk things that we could come up with. Number one is find a savings account that's high interest bearing. What that means is it's a savings account that pays you higher interest than most of the other banks.
Google it.
Google them. Just do a Google search for the highest interest savings account. Look at the ratings if it's a legitimate bank, even if it's online.
Yes.
That's a good place. We've done that ourselves and it's been great. It pays a pretty decent interest rate. That's number one thing you could do. Because remember, it's all about taking what you have and multiplying it.
Yes.
And I don't care if it's multiplying just a tiny bit, just multiply it. Because what happened is the power of compounding interest happens.
And it's also about breaking that cycle, right? Maybe you've never saved before. You've always been in a deficit. Maybe you did save and then an emergency happened and you lost everything that you saved. It's okay. Start saving again. Start with the $1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that's what you could do, because anyhow, listen, if you're in a deficit, $1 less is not going to make your deficit bigger, only by $1. So even start by $1, $5, start setting something because this will help your mind start shifting, right? Your mindset start shifting.
Exactly. So if you have a brokerage account, like you have an IRA, you know, you have a brokerage account, here's some things that you could do within that account to give you an idea. So there's things that are called Treasury Inflation Protected Securities, TIPS. You might have heard this. Basically, they're adjusted government bonds to inflation. These are government bonds. That's one thing you could do. Series 1 saving bonds, again, government bonds. These are backed by the, United States government.
This is the United States,
These in the
right?
United States, and these are pretty specific to that because I don't know the other countries we have out there
Mhm.
available, but these are low risk, and they're backed by the government. So if the government goes down, we're all in trouble. So at the end of the day, if they collapse, we get bigger problems than our savings.
Yes.
There's inflation index bonds that you could buy. And I'm just reading these off so you could go and look these up yourselves and you could see which one works best for you if you feel comfortable. There's real estate investment REIT trust that you could actually buy real estate inside of a what they call a REIT in your brokerage. So you're basically buying real estate like a apartment complex or many apartment complexes together. So you benefit from the appreciation of the properties and the rents and the values. These are all ways to
So basically, let's put into layman's terms, right?
Go ahead.
So basically, are you saying they will own like a portion of it, a percentage of it?
Yeah, you're basically owning a portion of that real estate. Now it's
Okay.
inside a financial instrument, but you're owning a portion of it. So when that real estate appreciates, when they raise rents, when they remodel the place and the value of the property goes up, the value of your REIT or your stock goes up with it. These are things that you have to think about. Remember, we're battling inflation. So you have to do things that are going to grow faster than inflation's going up. And these are giving you some ideas so you could grow as because inflation is always going to happen. So we got to get ahead of it.
And that's the reason why you should not spend the same amount of income, because your income will increase at a lower rate than your expenses, okay? Expenses usually are always going high, 5%, 10%, 20%. Your income doesn't.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
So another thing you could do is look at large companies that pay dividends, like on stocks, like a GE or a Ford or different stocks that are large, well-known companies. They pay dividends. And what that is, they just pay a percentage of the shares of the profits every quarter, 6 months, however it is. And those could be anywhere from 2% to 6, 7%, a year on one stock. So that's a way to fight against inflation.
So to do this, you will need to get your own account.
Brokerage account.
A brokerage account. So you will manage your own stock unless you have a stocks through your company, through your retirement account, and you can manage it. Then you can do it like that as well.
Another thing that we really encourage is to own gold and silver. Because if you haven't looked at the market today, gold right now is almost $3,000 an ounce. When we started doing this, it was, I don't know, $1,200 an ounce probably.
Yes.
So it's more than doubled in the course of like 7 years. So think about that. Your income has gone down because the cost of everything's gone up, but gold has actually doubled. So if you would have bought gold 7 years ago at that $1,200 and just held on to it, your value, whatever that gold cost you, doubled over the course of 7 years. As everything else appreciated in the world, you actually beat the inflation by holding precious metals. So gold, silver, we always encourage people to have part of that in your portfolio.
Yes, and if you go to our app, we have a toolbox, and within that toolbox, we have links for different websites that teaches about silver and gold, cryptocurrency, and even real estate.
And then another way to play gold and silver, if you want to stay within the brokerage account, is you could buy commodity index funds. So what's commodities? Commodity is gold, silver, platinum, palladium, soybeans, anything, corn. These are commodities, but you could buy ETFs of these commodities. And as you get like a dividend from them also, and as they go up, if the price of eggs, if just imagine this right now, if there was an ETF that tracked eggs, right? Right now you would be making way more money with that stock, because as the price of eggs comes up, that means the profit of these companies is going up with it. So that's why it's very important to diversify your wealth. Not just one thing, not just two things, but multiple things, a holistic, approach to everything. Don't get stuck thinking you have to just do one thing, or you're going to invest in this one business and you're going to put all your
You're
eggs.
gonna work in the same business, the same company for 20 years.
Don't put your
Those
eggs.
years
Don't put your
are
eggs
gone.
all in one basket. Is what we're
Because if
saying.
they fall, guess what? That will be a very expensive omelet. Okay. That's not like before. This will be the most expensive basket ever. So we really want to emphasize, listen, we know this is a learning curve for most of us. So that's the reason why if you look us up on Instagram, A Better Life, if you look us up on Facebook, we have every single day, we're sharing videos with you. We have information and posts because we want to help you change the way you think about life and about the finances and the wealth, right?
Yeah, we're here for you guys. We're here as partners for you. I know we joke around a lot about this stuff, but this is real life. We're
Very
just
much so.
we're doing the same thing you guys are. We're just sitting in front of the camera being vulnerable, showing you what we're doing, what we struggle with. A lot of these things, before we get on here, we argue about some of the stuff. Why we got to do that, But that's how we're learning, and we want to share what's working with us. Like what Deanna says, every day I do these seeds of growth videos, and I love it because it's like giving you like a little bit of like energy. It's like an energy shot every day to keep you going to the next. So make sure you subscribe and follow us on Instagram, get those videos, download our app.
Yes.
Please go to the Google Play and Apple Store and download our app. It's Able in the Apple Store, and it's A Better Life in the Google Play Store. Because these things will come to you right to your app every day. You don't have to even get on the internet and search it. It'll be right there for you.
You'll also be able to join the Diversify Community, which is an actual live community where you can ask questions. We could answer those to you. And then you can also do the Seeds program. So the Seeds program, it is the free program that we've built both in English and Spanish, right? So si tú hablas español, hemos creado este programa para ti. También todos los medios sociales estamos haciendo la comunicación en español porque deseamos ayudarte y servirte y para que tú rompas estos ciclos en las formas en que estás pensando en relación a la vida y a las riquezas.
What she said. No, and another exciting thing that's coming up very soon, our book is being launched. So you're going to be able to get your hands on a copy of our book that we wrote.
A planner.
A planner's coming, a whole year planner that's going to marry all this together.
And the merch already has been designed and it's going to be launched as well.
Super excited because all these tools are just resources.
Yes.
We're going to make them as affordable as possible for everybody. So everybody have the tools they need to be successful, to be able to diversify, to be able to build wealth beyond their wildest dreams.
And to be able to give this to your children, right? If you're a parent, listen, don't wait until they graduate. Start teaching them now.
So with that being said, we want to thank you guys for joining us this evening or morning, wherever you guys are at, whenever you're watching this stream. It is our honor and it's a pleasure for us to be here, to be able to share this information. Yes. Send us messages. Let us know the kind of content the areas that you want to hear about. Your questions. We want to hear them. We want to bring you the information that you want to hear. The questions that you have. Bring them to us. We love that. We want to bring them to other people, because if you're asking those questions, that means somebody else is asking that question around.
Yes, they are.
So we thank you. Have a good evening, good day, good morning, wherever you are, and we will see you next time.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.